What's your name, kid?
Amir.
Are you a Muslim?
Yes,
What does it mean to be a Muslim?
it means to love Allah and all people. Islam has a significant role to play in Russia's spiritual and cultural life. So it is not by accident that Russia was exactly the country where an event of great significance for the whole of Islamic world has taken place. People of a different faith, Orthodox Russian masters, made a copy of the ancient Muslim relic, the remaining pages of manuscript of the Uthman Quran, which according to some historians dates back to the 8th century AD. The manuscript has 162 pages that stood the test of time in the title page, and all of them are now cast in 999 gold, Russia's highest grade. The purpose of the project was to make true the heartfelt Muslims' desire to render the holy text to metal, which is not prone to the destructive effects of time.
My name is Vladimir Prusakov. We've always wanted to come up with something significant, unforgettable.
The State Moscow Mint works on the government's orders to mint coins, medals and orders, including golden ones as well. It is a very sophisticated jeweler's work. When the mint specialists received the order to reproduce the pages of the Quran on the sheets of gold, they did this unusual work perfectly. The gold pages of the ancient manuscripts have been reproduced with most precision and craftsmanship.
We used an ancient manuscript of the Quran that changed many owners as the starting point of our project. Time did not spare some of its pages. Some of them were torn, others missed several fragments. We were asked to reproduce these pages in metal exactly in accordance with their present-day state. It took us more than 18 months to complete the job. 6 months out of that period was spent on the elaboration of the production technology, based on which we made the matrices.
Engraving at the Moscow Mint is a complicated, high-precision process that requires enormous skill and great artistic talent. Only dedicated people do this work at the Mint. Many represent family dynasties with secrets of engraving passing from father to son. Every master has his own tools that serve him for years. The handles of the chisels and hammers glitter, polished by their owner's palms. Engravers have always worked in crews, and in older days they used to sing while working.
Ой, я пролегала на жалях дорожка, ой, я пролегала, но не широко, по-чистому да бою, да по-чистому да бою.
Жаль, что сегодня так не поют.
Too bad. Nowadays nobody sings like they did before. In June of 2007, the gold pages of the Uthman Quran were presented at the Moscow State Pushkin Museum of Fine Arts. The well-thought-out packaging of the book allows transporting it over long distances. The total weight of the boxes was nearly 600 kilos. They were taken to the museum from the Moscow Mint Depository. Several armored bank vehicles arrived at the museum at the set hour. The porters carried the boxes with their priceless load very carefully. Both the transport team and the porters dealt with such a load for the first time.
The oldest ancient Muslim relic is kept in our country. We view this as a symbol of rapprochement of the two great religions. It was a great honor for us to finish what we had planned. Just think, each sheet of gold is only 0.3 millimeters thin, and the embossed letters are 1 millimeter high, or 3 times the thickness of the page. How did we manage to do the job? Just take a look. It really is a miracle of a jeweler's craftsmanship. This way, the covers at the Moscow Mint showed what they are worth. I hope some people in Muslim countries will be willing to make such a gift to their leaders or national museums. Then we'll make another copy. In any case, what we've done is virtually a piece of exclusive work. After making several copies on orders from would-be clients, we'll destroy the cliches.
The display became a major event in cultural life of Moscow and attracted historians as well as Muslim and Orthodox religious figures.
A short while ago, it was hard to imagine that the Uthman Quran in gold will become part of Russian cultural heritage. What we are taking part in today is not just another holiday for the Russian Muslims. It is also an important event in the life of the entire Russian society. I take this presentation as an example of religious and national diversity our country boasts. People representing different cultures, faiths, and nations have always lived here side by side, communicating with each other. Representatives of Russian culture have always been interested in Muslim spiritual values.
Opening the ceremony, I'd like to say that we're happy to put on display one of the oldest and most precious spiritual texts in the history of mankind.
I happened to hold the original pages of the Quran in my hands many times. That was the time I worked at the Institute of Oriental Studies, where I was engaged in cataloging Arabic manuscripts.
We are calling upon all Arab and Muslim countries to purchase such a worthy copy of this noble Quran, the Uthman Quran, to put it in the place it deserves, the most venerated place in one's home.
Russia is a common home for the Orthodox Muslims and other confessions who have lived side by side for centuries. In my opinion, this project will have an enormous response not only in our country, but abroad as well. And let me once again congratulate us all on this event.
No doubt, events and meetings of the kind help bring the Orthodox and Islam worlds closer together. We need to know more about each other so that we have greater respect for each other. And while we are getting to know each other more, we should emphasize the kind and the positive that both Islam and Orthodoxy have.
I certainly see such a copy of the Quran for the first time. But I know that there is a very old tradition of presenting surahs of the Quran on precious metals in some sort of artistic form. For example, in Dagestan, the Islamic Museum of Fine Arts has a copy of the Quran on enamel-decorated silver made by Dagestan engraver Kishep. So the Quran pages presented here today are not a departure from the Muslim tradition.
The presentation was a success. Now the divine beauty of the gold pages of the Uthman Quran can be seen by many people. Alexei Volkov, who worked on the project together with Prusakov, put in it all his efforts and experience.
What can I say about Vladimir Prusakov, my colleague? He's a hard-working person of deep religious feeling, great fantasy, and a man open to the world. This probably explains why it is a real pleasure to work with him.
Vladimir Prusakov has 3 higher educations, one of which is theological. He is an Orthodox Christian married to a Muslim woman. They have 6 children, 2 of them are still toddlers. And what does his wife do?
What can a wife with so many children do? Of course, she looks after them.
13 centuries ago, Caliph Uthman gave orders to make a manuscript of the Quran on a parchment of delicate leather. Nowadays, it has been given its second life. Made of sheets of the Russian 999 gold, the manuscript will live forever.